This sign means A. No U-turn. B. Two-way left turn. C. Minimum speed limit. D. No parking. A. No U-turn. Regulation signs regulate traffic speed and movement, displaying rules which drivers must obey. Wherever this regulation sign is posted, U-turns are not permitted. Which of the following best ensures your safety and the safety of those around you when you are backing your vehicle? A. Honk your horn right before shifting into reverse. B. Check behind the vehicle before you get into the driver's seat. C. Check your rearview mirrors to see what is behind you. D. Turn up the car radio before backing up to get the attention of anyone who may be around you. B. Check behind the vehicle before you get into the driver's seat. Backing requires extra caution because it is difficult for drivers to see behind their vehicles. Before entering a vehicle to back up, walk to the back of the vehicle to check for children and small objects. Adjust your rear view and side mirrors. A. Before you start driving. B. Whenever you need to use them. C. Before you get into the car. A. Before you start driving. Your safety and the safety of other drivers and pedestrians depends a lot on what you do before driving. Before moving your vehicle, you should adjust your seat, adjust your mirrors, fasten your safety belt, and secure items in and on your vehicle. Do not wait until your vehicle is moving to adjust your mirrors. Just like alcohol and other drugs, drowsiness can A. Help you to be a better driver. B. Make you feel better. C. Impair your judgment. C. Impair your judgment. Not getting enough sleep is a cause of poor driving behavior. Just like drugs and alcohol, sleepiness slows reaction time, decreases awareness, and impairs judgment.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
Which of the following is a dangerous habit when driving in work zones? A. Tailgating another vehicle. B. Failing to carefully watch for workers and moving equipment. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. When driving in a work zone, adjust your speed for the traffic conditions and don't follow other vehicles too closely. Be attentive to workers and machines in the work zone. When two vehicles enter an intersection from different highways at the same time, which vehicle must yield the right of way? A. Either one. B. The vehicle on the left. C. The vehicle on the right. D. Neither. B. The vehicle on the left. At intersections that are controlled by signs or signals and at intersections that are uncontrolled, the driver on the left must yield the right of way to the driver on the right when two vehicles arrive to the intersection at the same time. This sign means A. Curves ahead. B. Divided highway starts. C. Divided highway ends. D. Bumps in the road. C. Divided highway ends. This sign warns drivers that the divided highway ends ahead. Broken yellow lines are used on streets and highways to A. Indicate no passing zones. B. Separate lanes of traffic moving in the same direction. C. Separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. C. Separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. Yellow lines separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Dashed lines on the pavement indicate that passing is permitted when safe. Before you change lanes, you should check your mirrors and A. Never look over your right shoulder. B. Always slow down in your traffic lane. C. Glance over your shoulder. C. Glance over your shoulder. Before changing lanes, it is very important to check behind you. You should look over your shoulder to ensure that you are not getting in the way of vehicles in the lane you want to enter. Before changing lanes, you should also ensure that no drivers are attempting to drive into the same spot from a different lane. When driving on slick roads, you should A. Take turns more slowly than usual. B. Change lanes quickly. C. Accelerate quickly. D. Brake hard. A. Take turns more slowly than usual. While it is always dangerous to drive too fast on slippery roads, this is especially true when driving in turns and curves. Be sure to approach them more slowly in slippery conditions than you would under normal circumstances. This sign means A. Merge right. B. Divided highway begins. C. Lane ends. When changing lanes, you should never A. Look over your shoulder to check your blind spot. B. Change lanes abruptly or spontaneously. C. Check for other vehicles moving into the same lane. B. Change lanes abruptly or spontaneously. When changing lanes, you must be sure that there are no vehicles in the space you want to enter. Check for other vehicles behind and to the side of your vehicle by checking your mirrors and blind spots. Always use the proper turn signal before changing lanes to allow surrounding vehicles time to react to your movements. To ensure that your physical condition does not cause you to drive in an unsafe manner, you should A. Keep physically fit and have regular physical examinations. B. Know the effect of any medicine on your driving ability. C. Drive within your physical limitations. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Your physical condition has an important bearing on your ability to drive safely. Drivers should be aware of their physical limitations and only drive if it is safe to do so. If your car starts to skid, turn your steering wheel. A. To keep the front wheels straight. B. In the direction you want the vehicle to go. C. In the opposite direction of the skid. D. In any direction. It doesn't matter. B. In the direction you want the vehicle to go. If your vehicle goes into a skid, you should turn the steering wheel in the direction you want the vehicle to go. As soon as the vehicle begins to straighten out, turn the steering wheel back the other way. If the roadway is wet or icy, you should A. Reduce your speed. B. Drive at the posted speed. C. Speed up. A. Reduce your speed. Because your tires will not grip the road under wet, snowy, or icy conditions as well as they will under dry conditions, you should slow down if the roadway is wet or icy. Do not pass A. On a hill or curve. B. When school bus lights are flashing. C. When approaching an intersection. D. All of the above. If a transit vehicle is signaling to re-enter the main roadway following a stop, you must A. Honk to let them know you're there. B. Move to the left lane. C. Yield. D. Speed up to pass. C. Yield. You must yield to any transit vehicle that is signaling to pull back onto the main roadway after it has stopped to load or unload passengers. Change lanes, slow down, or stop to allow the bus safe re-entry into traffic. This sign means A. Heavy traffic ahead. B. Do not enter. C. Railroad crossing. D. Yield. B. Do not enter. This sign means that it is not safe for drivers to enter the indicated road or driveway from their current direction. If you come across one of these signs, you should immediately turn around and drive a different way. When driving near a blind pedestrian who is carrying a white cane or using a guide dog, you should A. Slow down and be prepared to stop. B. Take the right of way. C. Proceed normally. D. Drive away quickly. A. Slow down and be prepared to stop. When driving near a blind pedestrian who is carrying a white cane or walking with a guide dog, you must slow down, yield the right of way, and then proceed with caution. Be prepared to stop your vehicle in order to prevent injury or danger to the pedestrian. If a tire blows out, you should A. Apply the brake and hold it. B. Hold the steering wheel tightly and use the brakes lightly. C. Pull over quickly. B. Hold the steering wheel tightly and use the brakes lightly. If a tire suddenly blows out while you are driving, hold the steering wheel tightly and keep the vehicle going straight. You should slow down gradually, taking your foot off the gas pedal and using the brakes lightly. Do not stop on the road if at all possible. Pull off the road in a safe place. When passing another vehicle, it is safe to return to your lane if you A. Cannot see the vehicle directly to your right. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. C. Have passed the other vehicle's front bumper. B. See the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. Before returning to your original lane after passing, you must make sure you are not dangerously close to the vehicle you have just passed. When you can see both of the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror, you may have enough room to return to the lane. This sign shows one type of A. Right turn. B. Intersection. C. Lane change. B. Intersection. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns that your current road ends at an intersection straight ahead. Slow down and prepare to yield or stop before turning right or left. Always signal when A. Changing lanes. B. Pulling into or out of a parking space. C. Pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Always use the proper turn signal when changing lanes, pulling into or out of a parking space, or pulling into traffic from an alley or parking area. Communicate with other drivers on the road to help prevent accidents. You must stop for a school bus. A. That is parked on the shoulder of the road with no one in it. B. When it approaches you, even if its lights are not flashing. C. If you are both driving on a two-lane highway and its red lights are flashing. D. Whenever the driver waves at you. C. If you are both driving on a two-lane highway and its red lights are flashing. You must stop when approaching a school bus that is displaying flashing red lights while stopped to pick up or drop off children. On a two-lane road, traffic moving in both directions must stop and remain stopped as long as the red lights near the top of the bus are flashing and/or the stop arm on the left side of the bus is extended. This road sign means A. Steep grade ahead. B. Pedestrian crossing ahead. C. Low ground railroad crossing. D. Low clearance. D. Low clearance. This sign indicates that the overpass ahead has a low clearance. You should not proceed if your vehicle is taller than the height shown on the sign, in this case, 13 feet 6 inches. Lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions are divided by fill in the blank lines. A. White. B. Red. C. Black. D. Yellow. D. Yellow. Yellow lines are used to divide traffic moving in opposite directions. When you park uphill on a street with a curb. A. Keep the front wheel straight and set the parking brake. B. Turn the front wheels away from the curb. C. Turn the front wheels toward the curb. D. Turn the back wheels into the curb. B. Turn the front wheels away from the curb. When parking on an incline where there is a curb, you should turn your wheels sharply to the left, away from the curb. This way, if your brakes fail, your vehicle will not roll into traffic. This sign means A. Change in direction or narrowing of roadway. B. No right turn. C. No passing zone. A. Change in direction or narrowing of roadway. This sign warns a driver of a change in direction or a narrowing of the road. A driver may find several of these signs on the outside of a sharp curve or on approaches to a narrow bridge. Yield also means stop if you cannot merge safely into the flow of traffic. A. True. B. False. A. True. In a situation requiring you to yield the right of way, you must also stop if you cannot merge safely into the flow of traffic. This is a fill in the blank sign. A. Stop. B. Wrong way. C. Yield. D. Do not enter. C. Yield. This triangular sign is a yield sign. When you see this sign, you must slow down to check for traffic and yield the right of way to pedestrians and approaching cross traffic. Stop only if it is necessary to do so. What does this road sign mean? A. You must turn right. B. No right turns permitted. C. Right turns permitted on a red light. B. No right turns permitted. This sign prohibits right turns. It is illegal to turn right at an intersection where this sign is posted. When parking next to a curb, you should use your turn signals. A. Only when pulling away from the curb. B. When pulling next to, but not away from, the curb. C. When pulling next to or away from the curb. C. When pulling next to or away from the curb. Drivers should signal when pulling next to a curb or away from a curb. This green arrow on a lane use control signal means A. You may use this lane. B. No traffic is allowed in this lane. C. You have the right of way. D. You must merge into this lane. A. You may use this lane. A steady downward green arrow over a traffic lane means you may use the lane indicated. Which of the following about winter driving is not true? A. Winter is the most difficult driving season. B. Checking your vehicle's antifreeze and windshield washer fluid levels is especially important during the winter. C. Using cruise control in winter weather is a safe thing to do. D. It is best to use snow tires on your vehicle. C. Using cruise control in winter weather is a safe thing to do. You should not use cruise control on snow, in rain, in fog, or under similar hazardous conditions. Winter is the most difficult driving season and requires extra caution from drivers. It is important to consistently check your antifreeze and windshield washer fluid levels. Using snow tires can increase a vehicle's traction on the surface of slippery roads. If you're going to turn left onto a one-way street, you should complete the turn into A. The right lane. B. The lane closest to your previous lane. C. Either lane. D. Neither lane. B. The lane closest to your previous lane. You should always turn from the lane that is closest to the direction you want to go. Turn into the lane closest to your previous lane.